Only 30 minutes left. This is about your son this Thursday. My dear child, if you believe in angels, start this video and watch it completely. Angel says you were not meant to find this message by coincidence. Every word you are about to read is being delivered to you with a holy urgency that cannot wait another moment. Archangel Michael says, "This is your son. Don't skip this. This is very important." There are only 30 minutes left before a door closes, before a shift takes place, in the spirit realm that will directly touch his life in ways you could not have imagined. This is about your son, and it's not next month, not next year, this Thursday. Something is about to unfold, and heaven is making sure you are prepared. Awake and aligned before it happens. You are being warned now because the outcome will depend on whether you receive and act on what is being said. For weeks, angels have been moving around your son. The Lord has been whispering to him in ways he doesn't fully recognize yet, but the enemy has also been watching him, circling him, setting traps. This is not to scare you. It is to open your eyes. God says, your son's name has been brought into conversations both in heaven and in places of darkness. He has a purpose the enemy fears, and because of that there has been a fight over his next season. Heaven is not silent about it. God says, I am stepping in, but I need you to see what is coming and what has been hidden from you. You've noticed certain changes in him. You've seen moments where he seemed distant, distracted, maybe even burdened by something he hasn't told you. Some days his smile doesn't reach his eyes. Some nights he's awake longer than usual, lost in thoughts he hasn't shared. God says those are not random moments. They are signs. His spirit is wrestling with something he doesn't yet have the words to explain. But I, the Lord, see it all. I see the conversations he has had in secret. I see the people who have spoken into his life recently. I see the crossroads he is standing at. This Thursday, something will happen that will either push him into his destiny or try to pull him off the path entirely. That is why this moment is so urgent. That is why Archangel Michael says you must not skip this. Only 30 minutes left means there is no time to delay. You have prayed for your son's safety. You have asked me to protect him when you can't be there. You have cried out for his future, for his purpose, for his heart to remain pure. I have heard every prayer. But I am also showing you that prayer is not just asking. It is listening. Right now I am answering your prayer by giving you knowledge before the event comes. This is not to bring fear but to equip you. The enemy's plan for Thursday is to present him with something that looks harmless. Maybe even exciting, but is actually a snare. It may be an offer, an invitation, a piece of news, or a sudden shift in his relationships. The enemy is hoping he reacts without seeking me first. But if you stand in the gap for him now, if you cover him now, the trap will be reversed and the blessing hidden inside this moment will be unlocked instead. God says, your son carries something rare in his spirit. Even from his childhood, he was marked with a different light. You saw it in the way people were drawn to him. In the way he could change an atmosphere with just his presence. This light comes from me. And the enemy has always hated it. That's why certain attacks in his life happened so young. That's why he faced struggles others didn't understand. But I preserved him for this time. Now the enemy is trying one more time to alter his path before the breakthrough I have planned for him. He doesn't have long before this Thursday arrives. And when it comes, a choice will stand before him. Heaven is ready to give him strength. But you must be the intercessor who stands between him and what's trying to harm him. Archangel Michael has already been assigned to him for this week. He has been walking beside your son even when you couldn't see it. Twice already he blocked situations from becoming worse than they could have been. Once it was in the form of a random delay that kept your son from being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Another time it was through a sudden change of plans that frustrated him in the moment but spared him from harm. Those weren't coincidences. They were divine interventions. Now the next intervention will depend on you listening to this word and taking it seriously, because heaven will never force its way into someone's choices. It will always partner with obedience. God says Thursday will not be like other days. There will be signs even before it arrives. You may hear news about someone he knows. He may suddenly become restless or unusually quiet. He may receive a message or call that shifts his mood. Pay attention to the little changes. Pay attention to what he doesn't say. I am giving you discernment sharper than before. I will allow you to sense what is unseen. And when you feel that nudge in your spirit, pray immediately. Cancel every plan of darkness. Speak life over him. Declare my promises aloud, because your words will carry a power in that moment that shifts outcomes in the spiritual realm. The enemy wants silence from you because silence means no resistance. But your voice is a sword, and when you speak my words, angels move. This is not just about protecting him from danger. It is about preparing him for destiny. I am about to open a door for him that has been closed for years. It is a door connected to his calling, his talents, and his future provision. But every open door in the spirit is contested. The enemy sends counterfeit opportunities, counterfeit relationships, counterfeit affirmations to distract from the real thing. If he falls for the counterfeit, the real door remains delayed. But if he sees clearly and chooses wisely, the real door opens instantly. That is why Thursday matters so much. That is why I am speaking to you now with such urgency. 30 minutes left means the countdown has begun. In my timing, You are standing in the last window to prepare his covering before the hour comes. You may feel a weight on your heart right now. That's not anxiety. That's intercession being activated in you. Heaven is placing the burden of his breakthrough on your spirit because you are trusted with it. You have the authority to stand over his life and command the plans of the enemy to fail. You have the authority to declare favor over him before Thursday even arrives. This is not just about your love for him as a parent or loved one. This is about your spiritual authority. When you speak in alignment with my will, angels respond without delay. When you declare what I have said about him, the enemy's lies lose power. God says, I know what you've been through with him. I know the nights you've prayed through tears. I know the moments you questioned whether you did enough, whether you guided him well, whether the world would pull him away from me. I am telling you now, you have not failed. You have planted seeds that will grow in ways you haven't yet seen. This Thursday will be a moment where those seeds begin to sprout. Even if he seems to make a wrong step, I will use it to redirect him. But your role now is to keep the ground around him clear. Remove the weeds in prayer. Pull down the lies in prayer. Speak protection over his mind. Call forth his destiny aloud. The enemy cannot approve what has been watered in prayer. If you'd like to donate or show your appreciation, you can give a super thanks up to $100. This message is not about fear. It is about awareness. If you ignore it, you may still see pieces of what I've spoken. But without your prayer, the battle will be harder for him. If you respond now, the shift will be faster and the blessing will come without the delay the enemy hopes for. That's why Michael is speaking so firmly. That's why I am pressing this into your heart, because I want you to remember this moment when Thursday comes. I want you to look back and say, God told me. God prepared me. God kept my son safe. This is not just warning. It is prophecy and promise combined. I will give you dreams in the nights leading up to Thursday. Pay attention. You may see symbols, places, or people connected to what's coming. Some may be familiar, some may not. But each dream will carry a piece of the puzzle. Do not dismiss them. Write them down. Ask me for interpretation. I will also speak through small unexpected confirmations, something you hear in conversation, a verse you come across, even a sudden feeling of déjà vu. All of it will be my way of saying, yes, this is what I told you about. Yes, you are on the right path. Finally, God says this Thursday is not to be feared but to be stewarded. If you walk into it with awareness, if you keep him covered in prayer, if you speak my words over his life, you will see something happen that will leave you in awe. A piece of his destiny will unlock. A weight on his spirit will lift. A door you've been waiting to see open for him will finally move. But if you take this lightly, the blessing may still come. But it will be delayed and the battle to reach it will be harder. That is why I am giving you this message now. That is why Archangel Michael says this is your son. Don't skip this. This is very important. Only 30 minutes left. This is about your son. And this Thursday, he will be faced with a moment that shapes his future. Stand with him in the Spirit. And watch what I do. You are not reading this by chance. Heaven has been moving through the hours to get this message into your hands before it is too late. Archangel Michael says this is your son. Don't skip this. It is very important. Only 30 minutes are left before a moment arrives that cannot be undone. This is about your son. This Thursday, he will be in the center of something that will change the direction of his life. You have prayed for him for years. You have cried for him in silence. You have asked God to protect him when you couldn't be there. Now God is answering, but not in the way you expected. This is a moment of divine interception. Heaven is moving to block a plan that was formed in darkness against him. And this is your call to be alert. The Spirit of God says, I have seen your heart toward him. I have watched the way you love him, even when he makes mistakes. I have heard every prayer you whispered for his safety. You thought I did not hear you when you begged me to shield him from danger. But, I tell you, every word you prayed became a shield over his life. There have been nights when danger stood at his door and could not enter because your prayer was still echoing in the atmosphere. There have been mornings when accidents were set against him, but vanished before they reached him because I commanded my angels to stand guard. He is not just your son. He is my child, too. And I have marked him since before the day you first held him in your arms. But the enemy has taken notice of the light upon his life. There is a calling over him. There is a destiny in his spirit that he has not yet seen. And because of that, darkness has tried to distract him, trap him, and pull him away from his path. This Thursday, there is a conversation, a meeting, an event that will try to pull him into something destructive. It will appear small at first. It will look harmless, but it is designed to pull him far away from where he is meant to go. Michael says you must be watchful. This is not a coincidence. This is a setup and heaven is speaking so you can stand in the gap. Only 30 minutes remain in the spiritual countdown before this assignment against him locks in. That is why you're feeling the weight in your heart right now. That is why you can sense urgency in your spirit. You've been feeling it for days without knowing why. It was the Spirit warning you, stirring you, preparing you for this moment. This is not fear. It is divine awareness. This is the same awareness that has saved you before. The same awareness that comes before a breakthrough. And it is here now because your son's life is about to shift. He has been walking with questions in his mind. He has been wrestling with thoughts you don't see. Sometimes he hides his struggle because he doesn't want you to worry. But God has seen every thought. He has seen the nights your son lays awake wondering who he really is. He has seen the moments your son questions his worth. There are voices around him that pretend to be friends but speak against his purpose. These voices want to convince him he is small, unwanted, replaceable. But God says, I have called him chosen. I have called him anointed. I have called him mine. This Thursday is the pivot. Heaven will release a moment where his ears will hear truth that breaks the lies he's believed. But before that truth comes, the enemy will try to reach him first. He will try to offer him something attractive but false. Something that seems like a shortcut but leads to loss. It may come through a person, an invitation or an opportunity that looks harmless but carries a spiritual trap. That is why heaven has given you this 30-minute warning to pray, to speak, to be aware. Archangel Michael says, your voice carries weight over him more than you think. When you speak life into him, heaven amplifies it. When you declare protection, angels move. When you pray over his day, the plans of darkness crumble before they can form. You think you are only one person, but in the spirit your words are a wall around him. That is why you cannot be silent now. Do not wait for Thursday to act. Start now. Speak into his life. Cover him in prayer. Ask God to redirect his steps even if it means disrupting his plans. Heaven will not allow this plan to succeed if you partner with it in faith. You may feel a strange stirring right now, almost like time is speeding up. That is because in the spirit, the clock is ticking faster. The moment of interception is almost here. God is not telling you this to frighten you, but to prepare you. You will see signs in the next few hours, small confirmations that this message is from him, something you overhear, a sudden conversation, a dream, a thought that comes out of nowhere. Pay attention. These will be the guideposts for your prayers. The enemy is hoping you will dismiss this. He is hoping you will say, I'll pray later, or it's nothing. That is why Michael says only 30 minutes left. In the spiritual realm, that is the final window before a choice is sealed. If you act now, you will see God move swiftly. You will see circumstances change. You will watch as what was meant to harm your son turns into a testimony of protection. But if you ignore the prompting, the enemy will push harder. This is a moment to stand firm. Your son may not even realize what is at stake. He may not understand why you are suddenly more protective, more vocal, more watchful. That is all right. You don't need to explain everything. Just obey the prompting. He will understand later when he sees what was avoided, God says there will come a day when He will look back on this week and thank you for listening. He will not even know the full danger that was blocked because I will erase it before it reaches him. But he will feel the safety of my hand around him. I see him standing at a crossroads. On one side is comfort, familiarity, and the same patterns that have tried to hold him back. On the other side is growth, purpose, and destiny. The path to destiny looks harder at first. It requires leaving behind certain habits, certain people, certain ways of thinking. But I am calling him to it. I am calling him higher. And your prayers will be the wind at his back that pushes him toward the right path. Do not underestimate this moment. Do not underestimate the urgency. 30 minutes. That is all that remains before the atmosphere around him shifts. The Spirit says on Thursday there will be a voice of truth that reaches him. It may come through you. It may come through someone unexpected. It will speak directly to the questions he has been carrying. It will open his eyes to see himself the way I see him. And when that happens, the enemy's grip will weaken. This is why the enemy is desperate to distract him now, because he knows once your son sees the truth, he will never go back to the lies. You have been weary. You have wondered if your prayers matter. You have wondered if your son will ever fully step into the light you've prayed over him. I am telling you now, they matter more than you know. They have built a hedge of protection around him. They have been the reason certain disasters never reached his door. They have been the reason he is still standing today. I am not finished with him. The calling over his life is still active. The gifts I placed in him are still there. The dreams I gave him will awaken again. But right now, you must stand in your authority. Speak life over him every morning until Thursday. Anoint your home with oil. If you have it. Play worship music in the background when he is near. Declare that no plan of the enemy will prosper. Declare that every negative influence is removed. Declare that every hidden trap is revealed and dismantled. Your words will go ahead of him and prepare the way. Archangel Michael says, I have already assigned warrior angels to surround him. They are standing at the corners of his path. They will block what is meant to harm him, but they are also waiting for your agreement in the Spirit. Speak and we will act. Pray and we will move. Stand in faith and we will fight harder. This is a partnership between heaven and you. You will feel peace settle over you when you have prayed through. You will feel the urgency lift when the shift happens. And when Thursday arrives, watch closely. There will be a moment, a phone call, a message, a change in plans that confirms heaven has intervened. Do not take it lightly. Give thanks immediately. That will seal the victory. This is not just about this week. This is about setting a new course for his life. This Thursday is the doorway to a season of clarity for him. If you cover him now, he will begin to make decisions with new wisdom. He will be drawn to the right people. He will step away from what drains him. He will rediscover the passion and joy that life tried to take from him. You will watch him grow into the man God called him to be. God says, "You have carried him in prayer for so long. Now let me carry him into his next chapter. Trust me with his future. Trust me to guide him even when you cannot see every detail. I have never lost one that was placed in my hands. And I will not lose your son, only 30 minutes left in the spiritual clock. Use them well. Heaven is leaning in. The angels are waiting for your agreement. Speak now. Pray now. Believe now. And watch as I turn what was meant for harm into a testimony of my power. Archangel Michael says, "This is your son. And I am telling you now, do not skip this because it is very important. Heaven is speaking and you only have 30 minutes left to prepare yourself in the spirit for what is about to unfold this Thursday. Your son will be at the center of something that will shake you, not to destroy you, but to awaken something powerful in your life. This is not." And she knew the only way to truly stop you was to attach your name to chaos you never signed up for. She thought you wouldn't find out. She thought no one would believe you. But now even the government official assigned to your case is having dreams. God is visiting them in the night. God is stirring their conscience. God is placing your image in their mind until they are too uncomfortable to stay quiet. Michael is organizing a divine reversal. The very plan meant to trap you is about to expose her. The arrest she hoped would come for you is circling back to her door. The accusations will bounce back. The lies will be untangled. God says, "I am stepping in. I am defending you and I will not allow your name to be dragged any longer. You don't owe her forgiveness right now. You owe yourself the truth. You owe your soul the freedom to finally see what your spirit already sensed. She was never for you. She clapped for your wins but quietly resented your rise. She pretended to help but she was collecting information. And when the time came, she used it. But heaven took notice. And now angels are rerouting everything. That's why the official wants to meet you. Not to harm you, but to hear from you, to see what's real, because they know something is off. You are not what they were told. You are not a threat. You are chosen. And that changes everything. If you'd like to donate or show your appreciation, you can give a super thanks up to $100. God says, don't run. Don't hide, don't panic. I'm giving you peace that passes understanding. You may not know what to say when they call, but the Holy Spirit will speak for you. Don't fear exposure. You were born for truth. The light is your home. No weapon formed against you will prosper. No trap set for your downfall will succeed. No scheme birthed in jealousy will end your story. She made one mistake. She touched a child of God. She dared to interfere with divine destiny, and now she must answer for it. God is not cruel. But God is just, and the truth must rise. Archangel Michael is hovering now. Sword drawn, wings extended. His presence is thick in your atmosphere. That's why you've been feeling spiritual pressure. It's protection, not punishment. God surrounded you before the attack even started. You didn't know how close you were to destruction, but heaven did. That's why the exposure had to happen now. Finally, God is exposing this woman. Not to humiliate her, but to deliver you. Not to shame her, but to break the chains around your name. What she did was deep, but God's mercy runs deeper. What she planned was dark, but your light cannot be dimmed. You are not a criminal. You are not in danger. You are in transition. From being questioned to being elevated. From suspicion to clarity. From the shadow of accusation into the brilliance of vindication. The next 24 to 72 hours are crucial. Do not ignore strange messages. Do not dismiss conversations that seem too odd to be random. Pay attention to dreams. Pay attention to sudden urges to check certain platforms or emails. Divine clues are being released to guide you. And when you feel the pull to pray, do it immediately, because heaven is synchronizing your path. You were almost destroyed by something you didn't cause. But God refused to let that happen. You were almost swallowed by a system that doesn't even know your heart. But the angels stood in the way. You were almost arrested for a crime you didn't commit. But now the one who started it all is being pulled into the spotlight. God is reversing it. Heaven is writing a new report. The false witness is trembling. The official is watching. Your name is shifting realms. Your reputation is being restored. Your spirit is being washed clean from the weight of this war. You will look back at this moment and weep. Not because of fear, but because of how close you came to the edge and didn't fall. Not because of who hurt you, but because of how powerfully you were protected. This is your rescue. This is your redemption. This is your divine alert. Archangel Michael says, don't ignore this. Don't click away. Don't treat this lightly. The warning has been sounded. The alarm is divine. The clock is ticking. And now heaven has spoken. What happens next is in your hands. The 3 hours have passed and heaven is still watching to see what you do next. The trap that was laid for you has not vanished. But because you paused, because you allowed heaven to speak, something changed. The enemy is nervous now. She, the woman who wrapped her schemes in sweetness, is beginning to feel something slipping through her fingers. She thought you would fall in. She thought your trust would blind you. She thought her performance would fool you, but it didn't. Not fully. Your soul started shaking when you read the last word of the warning. Your spirit started trembling when you looked at her name afterward. Something inside you knew. And now the veil has started to lift. God says you were seconds away, one conversation, one visit, one agreement away from stepping into her web. But the angels intercepted. The divine order was activated. Archangel Michael stood behind you with fire in his voice and said, "No more distractions. This one belongs to heaven." And heaven agreed. The council of the righteous roared in victory because one more soul, you escaped the counterfeit light. But your freedom isn't just about escape. It's about awakening. Now begins the real unveiling. This message is no longer a warning, it is a revelation. Heaven is not just exposing a trap. You're being shown your spiritual rank. You're not just a survivor. You're a spiritual warrior. You are marked, protected, and called. And for the rest of your days, the enemy will fear what you just avoided. You were supposed to be silenced, bound, delayed. She was sent to disconnect you from your divine alignment. Her words were spells dressed as suggestions. Her gifts were doorways to compromise. Her energy was designed to mirror yours, so perfectly that you would mistake imitation for intimacy. But now her mask is falling one by one. The people she spoke with are starting to see her. The charm she used to bind others is fading. The spiritual veil she used to disguise her jealousy is thinning. Her words are being turned back upon her, and the things she whispered about you in the dark are becoming her own mirrors. God is flipping the script. The trap she said is being restructured. It will not hold you, but it will hold her. Because heaven's law is just, and when a person continuously tries to entangle a child of God, when she refuses to stop, when she manipulates and deceives with calculated intention, God intervenes with finality. You may feel strange emotions. Now relief, but also grief, clarity, but also sorrow. That's normal because part of you wanted her to be real. You wanted to believe in her light. You hoped she was genuine. You gave her access, time, trust. And now you see that it wasn't mutual. She didn't love your soul. She loved your favor, she didn't care for your pain. She just wanted a seat at your table. She didn't want to grow with you. She wanted to grow from you. And now that you've stepped back, she's scrambling. But she will not recover what was never hers to touch. God says, I am healing you from the residue. I am cleansing your memory. I am rewiring your discernment so that no one ever wears her mask again and fools you with it. This exposure is not the end. It is the unlocking of purpose, of strength, of inheritance. You had to see this. Not just for this woman, but for every spirit that ever used a friendly face to hide a knife. That cycle ends now. You are spiritually upgraded, and what used to feel like confusion will now sound like sirens. You will no longer hesitate when something is off. You will no longer delay when your spirit stirs. You have crossed into new awareness. Now watch how your life begins to shift. Conversations you thought were innocent will come back to mind. You will see things she said and realize the manipulation hidden inside them. You will hear from people who were once blind to her ways and now say something's not right with her. You will feel energy returning to your body. Energy that her presence quietly drained. Your sleep will deepen. Your ideas will return. Your joy will begin flowing again because the spiritual parasite is gone. And God says that is why I sent this message, not just to warn you but to free you. This freedom has a cost. You must now decide what kind of access she has going forward. Will you confront her? Will you block her? Will you allow her to linger in the outer spaces of your life, hoping she'll change? Or will you listen to the full weight of heaven and release her? Heaven has already made its choice. Heaven is already shifting your atmosphere. But your agreement matters. The angels won't override your will. They won't drag you out if you decide to turn back. That's why this moment is still sacred. Because even after the 3 hours passed, you are being given grace, one more choice, one more opening. One more gate. Choose wisely. The next season of your life depends on this decision. Not because she's powerful, but because your energy is. Your focus is fuel. Your attention is sacred. Your loyalty creates legacy. And if you tie those things to the wrong people, the wrong paths, and the wrong spirits, you lose years. You lose time. You lose moments you can't get back. God is not telling you this to punish her. He's telling you this to protect you, because you are stepping into a season of alignment so divine, so prophetic, so surreal, He will not allow it to be contaminated. You're about to meet people who match your light, not mirror it. Match it. They won't imitate you, they'll ignite you. They won't compete with your calling. They'll celebrate it. They won't pretend to support your growth while secretly fearing it. They will hold you up while heaven expands you. And you could miss them if you stay tangled in the energy of someone who was never meant to walk that future with you. There is favor ahead, but favor has a frequency. And the woman God just exposed was keeping your frequency locked in survival mode. You couldn't rise in her presence. You couldn't hear clearly. You couldn't see fully. Her energy was like fog. Her words like spiritual static. But the fog is lifting. The static is silenced. And now in the quiet, you can finally hear what heaven has been saying all along. You were never alone. You were never forgotten, you were always protected. And now you are free. What happens now is no longer about her. She has been revealed. Heaven has made its move. Now you move. Don't let old ties guilt you back into spiritual cages. Don't let the illusion of love pull you back into betrayal. Don't fall for her. I miss you when you know it was never real. This is not cruelty. This is clarity. This is not bitterness. This is boundaries. This is not revenge. This is release. You are rising. So rise without apology, rise without hesitation. Rise and let the light of truth guide you. The trap is no longer yours. The woman is no longer hidden. The clock is no longer ticking. The choice is yours. Archangel Michael says, do not ignore this message. This is not a coincidence. This is a divine moment. Heaven has stopped everything just to speak to you right now. You were meant to see this. You were meant to hear this. A higher hand is moving and the situation that has been circling around your life like a silent storm is now being revealed. A top government official, yes, someone with unimaginable influence and unexpected connections is now asking about you. And it's not random. The reason is shocking, urgent, and dangerously tied to something you were never supposed to be blamed for. You are not in trouble in the eyes of God. But there are people who have painted your face into a picture you never posed for. There are signatures, lies, and whispers that have crept into places you cannot see. Things have been said about you behind high closed doors. There are records, files, trails of twisted information connected to your name. But heaven is responding. God is not silent. This message is not a scare tactic. It's your spiritual lifeline. God says you need to understand that what is happening is part of something much bigger than you imagined. You think it's just chaos. You think it's just a misunderstanding. But in the spirit realm it is war. A war for your name, your legacy, your freedom, your future. The enemy is desperate. He knows you are on the edge of your divine assignment. He knows your breakthrough is near. That's why there's sudden surveillance. That's why your name is being discussed by people you've never even met. But listen to me now. I am your God and I do not slumber. What they planned for your downfall will be flipped into your divine elevation. Archangel Michael is standing tall with a mighty sword of fire. He has been dispatched personally to oversee this moment in your life. He is watching every movement in the spirit and physical realm. He has seen the forged papers. He has seen the digital trails. He has seen the setup. Yes, they tried to frame you. Yes, someone deliberately inserted your name into something that wasn't yours to carry. But heaven says enough. This is the moment of exposure. This is when their lies collapse. You must stay calm but alert. You must trust what you cannot see. You must believe that even when the world seems to spin out of control, my hand is steady. You are not facing this alone. My spirit is going before you into the office where your name was spoken. My angels are present even where cameras cannot record. That government official was led to you for a divine reason. They saw something. They heard something. They read something that doesn't match the real you. And now their spirit is unsettled. They want to meet you, not to hurt you, but because what they discovered is so unusual, they must see you with their own eyes. You are not supposed to be on any arrest list. But your name ended up there because of someone else's fear, jealousy, or manipulation. Someone saw your rising light and couldn't handle your destiny. They thought if they buried you in a false accusation, you would disappear. But they didn't realize who they were messing with. You are a child of the Most High God. You are covered in divine grace. You are not weak. You are not vulnerable in the eyes of heaven. You are marked with favor. Even now, heavenly hosts are rewriting what they tried to write against you. Archangel Michael has assigned angels of justice to hover over every report, every accusation, every file. Their lies are being exposed in the spirit before they can even take physical form. You must not panic. Fear is a liar. God says, "Be still and know that I am God." I will not allow this to go further than it needs to. I am turning this around. This official was not the enemy's plan. The enemy wanted someone corrupt. But I positioned someone in that seat of authority, who has a conscience, someone who prays in secret, someone who listens to their gut when something doesn't feel right. And that person has seen enough to know something is off. That person has been moved to request a meeting with you. Don't be afraid. I am already in that room. I will fill your mouth with wisdom when you speak. You won't need to defend yourself. My presence will do that for you. There is more at play here than you know. This meeting is not just about a warning. It's an unveiling. Something is going to be said that opens a new door in your life. The exposure of what was done against you is going to reveal people you thought were loyal, people you trusted. Even a relative or old friend may be connected to the setup. But I will shield your heart. I will cover you when the truth comes out. I will